Alright, so I have watched the basically intro to Attack on Titan Season 4, so just like the first 8 episodes. And by God, spoiler free is going to be brief because the spoiler free section is this was fantastic, near flawless. You have me completely invested in the lives of characters I hated a chapter or an episode ago. I love the opening of season 4. I don't know how I'm going to feel going through, but my only real complaint is I realized after watching these 8 episodes that I am connected a lot more to the story, the world, the history, and the unraveling of the story, not so much the characters though. With the exception of honestly probably just the one character, if anything happens to any of the other ones, I'm not going to be that emotional about it because they are just a mechanism moving the story along for me. I'm far more invested in just what the final outcome will be rather than who is going to survive to the final outcome. So the only criticism I have is the story has not made me emotionally invested in the characters themselves, but by God, does it have me interested in just society as a whole and the different groups. Who will come in on top? How will they coexist? Can they coexist? Or is it just all downhill from here? End of spoiler free because my God. War zones, collateral damage, the prosecution of different groups of people, full-on genocides, and it is just absolutely brutal what this world is going through, and I can't trust anybody, and I also just want them all to coexist equally, but that's never going to happen with all the hatred that they have in their hearts. The Eldian people who are in Marley and fighting want to become warriors, specifically like Gabby. Her absolute hatred for the people on the island of Paradise because she views their existence as a threat to her, her people, her loved ones. Because so long as they exist, they are a threat. The world hates them. Therefore, they will hate the Eldian people that are currently at Marley. You have the rest of the world outside of Marley that also fear and hate the Eldian people because of the threat that they have as weapons for the Marley people. And then you have Marley, who were prosecuted in the past, and now that they have risen to power, have used it to conquer and control others the way they were supposedly suppressed in the past. Again, I don't even trust the history from anything that I've been told because it's just going to be the story based on what the people in power, in command, want you to believe, and the amount of propaganda in this story I love it. I love it so very much. There is a new animation style character design that I am not a fan of at all, not even a little bit. I didn't even notice it in the beginning because it's all new characters, it's a new location, and I'm loving it. It's great. It's fantastic. No issue with the animation, with the new designs, coloration, all beautiful. But then when we're introducing characters that we have seen before in previous seasons, not to mention time jumps, so they've aged, their designs have changed. Combine this with a different animation studio and different style, I'm already not the most emotionally connected to the characters, and now you've changed aspects of them so I even have that further distance put between them. I'll get used to it. I'm 100% going to get used to it. They've only showed up in the last couple episodes of this first part of the season. I don't know how I feel about Eren, because I didn't used to like him, but I actually really like Gabby, who is just Eren from across the sea. And she is kind of making me like Eren more, and Eren has completely gone rogue. So the people of Paradise don't even trust him anymore for how he has acted in his current situation. He got himself captured, people died getting him back, and everyone is just like, we have now lost our trust in you. Levi kicks him in the face again, which deserved. I don't really know what his plan is. Does he still have the hatred of everything, of the people across the sea? Is he just out to vanquish all his enemies? Does he have ulterior motives? Because he knows what's going on now. I'm wondering if him and Historia have already had a conversation of, listen, if I'm touching somebody with the royal blood, then I can access these memories. So maybe he does have the full history of the world now, realizes what his people have done in the past, why his enemies act this way. And now that he's spent time across the sea in Marley, in the Eldian ghetto, and have ate with these people, fought with these people, lived with these people, understands that we're all the same, and that may have tampered his hatred, and now maybe he has a long-term goal of saving everybody. I'm not opposed to the idea of him becoming a martyr, all the people putting their hatred on him, so upon his death, they have an enemy vanquished, and now they can live in peace. That being said, he also says, I'm here to vanquish all my enemies. So maybe not, maybe he is, listen, I get there's no right or wrong, but I'm going to do what is right for my people, and I'm not going to feel bad about that. My ancestor may have said, listen, the only way to end this war is for us to be confined among the walls, but like, I'm not going to be a sheep. I will eliminate all you so my people can live in peace, and that's just the way it's gotta be. I don't know which side he's going to fall on. And again, Gabby's in her early Eren stages of just witnessing the people she loves being killed brutally in front of her, losing everything, but she's also had this propaganda influencing her all her life. She only sees the people on the island as devils because that is what has been drilled into her head since the day she was born. And the only way she can gain like basic human rights is to make herself useful to the Marley people. So I'm really anxious to see what's going to happen to her once she gets to paradise and she's exposed to that there are good people there. Someone has to get to her and realize that she is a good person. I want it to be Hanji, but it's probably not going to be. She's not very comforting. I don't think it's, maybe it'll be Eren because they do have that similarity, and maybe it'll be Falco because he knows that Eren lost his mother, that he's heard the speech, the conversation between Eren and Reiner, saying how we are all the same. Maybe he'll convince her. She's got a lot of hatred to work past. Historia, maybe? Zeke is just going to be there. She's probably got some hatred for him, though. She's not going to trust him. I want to see who she interacts with going towards the island. The people in charge of the military had to have known that the king beyond the wall was not a threat. In my opinion, the only reason for to be sending titans, like stab in the neck, inject, turn them into a titan, send them off to the walls, was because either they felt that turning someone into a titan was such a devastating consequence, like worse than hell on earth, that it was worth adding to the army of titans that the king beyond the wall could then control. But their biggest tactic of controlling the people on their own home island or whatever home area is saying that the Founder Titan will take control, march colossal titans, march all the titans across the earth, the rumbling, level everything. So, is that not a bigger threat? Do you really want to give him more titans to have the opportunity to control? It does not make sense, which means they had to have some kind of inkling that he would never do that this was just making things worse for the people on Paradise, which means they knew everything that the Tybur, whoever, the Warhammer Titan family, had told us during their speech and presentation. So why send people to go get the Founder Titan? They told the people, the Eldians that they sent with Reiner and Annie and Bert and other one who got eaten by Ymir, that we're just going to test the king, see what he'll do if we attack the walls, if we come for his life. Will he hold to, they probably didn't tell him about his vow never to enact violence again, but will he retaliate? And they knew the answer would be no, or else they're risking the entire world on this one strike. What they had to have actually wanted was to go after the Founder Titan because they realized, they didn't technically tell us that they realized how far their armies have gone down until later. They're in this war. Other countries have methods to protect themselves against Titans, whether it's tanks and certain guns. But now the Titans that they have alone are not enough to keep Marley on top of the military force. What would be, besides increasing their own human ingenuity, would be the Founder Titans. So they had to have gone there, knowing the king wanted peace, would never attack them, instead went to get that for their own selfish desires to keep themselves on top. And I love it so much. So for Eren's father to realize that, plead for his family's life to the king, use the Founder Titan, and then be like, no, I'm not using this power. I have the history of the world. You're the one who don't understand. So for Eren's father to take that and give to his own son, and now it's out of control. It's not bound by the vow of the final king. So Eren can unleash the rumbling, can level the world, has this power. And he has so much power now with the Founder Titan, the Attack Titan, the Warhammer Titan. I want to see what he is going to do with this power. Is it going to be absolute power corrupts absolutely? Or will he connect with the memories of the past, make mistakes, sacrifice himself to save the world, go back in time to start this whole thing off again with corrections? Are we in a full-on time loop where his actions will always remain the same, or will it be if I say or do something different when he first gives the Attack Titan to his father? Will a different outcome occur? Can we branch off from a set time frame? Because we learn that the Jaeger guy has to be Eren, but Eren gave the power to his own father, which was result in his death by losing the Attack Titan. Time travel, man. I don't know what they're going to do. I'm very excited. I'm 8 episodes in, and I am so excited. All right, there's so much little details in these first couple episodes, so on to past Jessica experiencing this for the first time. All right, I'm about 2 minutes into episode 1, and I have my first complaint. Hopefully this will be my only complaint. Warzone, they just got some blonde buddy back to the trenches, and they're like, do you remember what's going on? And he's like, who are you people? So, like, temporary amnesia. Granted, Warzone, he definitely hit his head. And they're like, this is the final battle of a 4-year war. We need to take this fort so we can attack the Navy ships. It'll spell victory for Marley, which, again, are the people that are currently in charge, and the Eldian people are in, like, the ghetto area being subjugated and prosecuted because of the sins of their ancestors, when in the past the Eldian people were in charge with the Titan power and the Marley were suppressed, but right now Marley's in charge. And these ones got the armband, so I'm assuming they're the Eldians working for the Marley people. But I just don't like that we're doing a little exposition dump of this war's been going on for 4 years, we gotta do this, and it's just like, I don't like amnesia, okay? Even if it's a temporary amnesia, I just don't like amnesia. All right, 6 minutes into episode 1. Already got a note. I'm already liking it. I like parallels. It's nice. So this, I think it's a girl. Gabby is an Eldian, which is the same type of people as the ones behind the walls. And honestly, she got just as much hatred, it seems like, from her tone of voice as Eren does. But this time, it's directed at the people in Paradise, because so long as they exist, the idea of these devils and prosecution and all that, and she wants to prove that the only good Eldians left are the ones fighting with Marley by destroying all the people that have been cast out into Paradise, the wall area, and that'll end up freeing her people from the internment zones. They're there because apparently this world, the Marley people can't trust them because of the sins of their ancestors. So she is trying to find a way to free her people and live free, paralleling Eren wanting to destroy all the Titans, so him and his friends, family, and his people can be free. But they're going to end up, they're on opposite ends of this war now, because these people want to kill Eren and his people, so they're going to have to come here, and it's an interesting parallel. It's basically Eren on the Marley side. I don't know how to say their names. Marley, maybe. I was just like, why are they throwing these people in, like, what looks like sleeping bags out of a helicopter with parachutes on? Why do they look so resigned to, like, death? Some are grinning right wide, but they're all, they got some kind of expression on their face. Like, what's going on? Why are they throwing them out of the helicopters? And then Zeke shows up, and he screams, and I'm like, oh no. And they all turn, well, I paused at the lights, and I'm just like, he's turned the innocent people into the Titans, and people got mad at me for calling them shifters before. He forcibly shifts them into Titans. It feels appropriate to call them that, even though they can't turn back. But I'm like, oh no. So he's using his own people, because these are definitely the Eldian people that they just tossed out to turn into Titans, to wreak havoc on this battlefield. rewinding a little bit, I hadn't finished episode 1. I'm already loving this. So they were talking about the Operation in Paradise had to be postponed because the loss of the Colossal and Female Titan left a power gap, and their enemies determined that was a good time to attack. So they've been in war with these people for apparently 4 years, and they had this armored tank, the enemies of Marley, who I might like, who knows, talking about how this special tank would be enough to bring down a Titan. I'm assuming if it hit its nape of the neck. And they were going to send these 800 Eldian soldiers out to fight, and they're terrified. They're not inspired here. Erwin will be able to inspire those people to lay down their lives for the people that they are fighting for, but these Marley people are just like, no, you're going to die to prove that you're not a monster. You're better than the devil spawn that we all know you are. And I'm like, rude. They got a suicide group with bombs strapped to them. They're terrified. They're just like, we're going to die, but we got nothing else to do. And Gabby here is just like, listen, let me go instead. And they're like, we've spent so much money training you as a candidate to take over the Armor Titan power. No, we're not going to risk you. She's like, I know I'm wonderful. I'm fantastic. I'm great. But I can take down that tank with 8 grenades. So let me do this. Or, do you really think, do you love me more? Think I'm worthy or better than 800 soldiers? I'd understand if you did. I'm just that awesome and cute. And he's just like, fine, stop talking. Go do what you're going to do. So she goes out in just like her underclothes, more or less, got permission to take off the armband. Do not like the armbands. They make me very uncomfortable. I think that is the point, but I'm very uncomfortable. And sneaks to the front line. The enemy has a soul. It's like, I really don't want to shoot a girl. She's just a kid. You do it. No, I'm not shooting her. Well, what if she's Eldian? She could transform a Titan at any minute. Then you shoot her. I really don't want to shoot her. She's hurt. She falls down right as the train's coming. The grenades are strapped to her leg. Tosses them. Destroys the tank. She's like, haha, I did it. Gets back to base. And then another Titan. I'm assuming this is the Jaws Titan that they talked about. Kind of has like a lion-looking mane around him. I was going to call him the Lion Titan, but they already dropped the name Jaws, so it's probably that one. And to kind of protect, shield them when the other blonde one from the first part of the episode rushed out into the battlefield to also protect her. And I'm like, awesome. So awesome introductions all around. I'll ignore that first little bit of amnesia for the sake of exposition dumping. Overall, it's really, really cool seeing Titans fighting in a war zone with, like, machine guns. It's a completely different vibe than the ODM equipment that we've got on, which I gotta call it Paradise now instead of just the walled area. Island. How did I not know that was an island? Yeah, so I'm going to hit play, but I'm upset that they just dropped a bunch of innocent people out of the helicopter to turn them into Titans to fight in their war uncontrollably. I guess the Beast Titan controls them, but still, oh my god. They're making me like the people on the mainland, and I'm not happy about it because I want to cheer for our people, but these people are nice too. What's happened since I checked in 30 seconds ago and half an episode ago? Reiner ended up taking the blast for Zeke when the enemies, I guess different enemies that drew attention away from Paradise was blasting from the boats. And Reiner took the blast for Zeke, but he's also fine. They definitely don't know that Zeke has royal blood because they're like, hey, there's never been a Beast Titan like you before. Why are you so amazing? He's like, oh, you'll learn when you get my memories, my big secret. And it's like, what? It's not like you don't have royal blood. How do you do it so well? And he's like, wait and see. The Jaws Titan, whose name starts with G that I can definitely pronounce, has eaten Ymiro, so she's gone, which makes me sad. So I was really hoping that letter that she sent to Historia had some kind of secret message in it about how, I don't know, well, it must have been a goodbye, it was a goodbye letter. I was kind of hoping we'd see her again, but it makes sense that they were going to take that power back for themselves. They were cheering on the train, celebrating their victory, and hoisting Gabby up on her shoulders, and now she's definitely going to, she's basically secured her spot as the heir to the Armored Titan. But Reiner, who may or may not be her brother, they're in the family, they're all sitting around a family dining table at one point in time, and is saying to Colt's little brother, I haven't learned his name yet, saying you have to save her from the dark fate. So basically, you become the armor titan or something happen to save her from the fate of the ones who inherit the nine, because you don't want her to die in, was it 12 or 13 years? 13 years? You get such a short lifespan with these titan powers. But once they returned home, it's really, really, really pushing the idea of like child soldiers and the propaganda and the fear and the threat that they're under. When they come home, first of all, the heirs to the Armor Titan's power, they're so small. They are so small. These are not just children, they're little children. And they were in an active war zone a second ago. You have parents for regular soldiers coming in and hugging them and saying, like, so happy you're home, Mom, Dad, I'm so happy to see you, kind of thing. And I'm just thinking of Annie and her father and how she had promised to come home to him and he wanted her to come back. I'm like, oh my God. And the Marley people do not see these people as human, to the point that the ones with like trauma from digging in the trenches so long and all the bombs around them are shaken, traumatized, and the guy in the military just like screams bomb and they drop to the floor and they're laughing at them. It's like, haha, they all fell over again. And I'm just like, you absolute brutal. I can't even put into words how much I'm hating the Marley people right now. So is it possible for our people in Paradise to team up with these people? No, they're not, because the propaganda has convinced them that the people on Paradise are the enemies for giving in to the seed of the devil, spawn, whatever, and that the only way for them to live free and happy is to defeat them, so then they can live peacefully in like the Marley world, and that's not going to happen. They're never going to see them as human. Oh my God, I don't know where this is going to go, but it's going to end with two sympathetic groups fighting against each other, not realizing who their true enemy is. But again, I think back to the previous season, and our true enemy of the Marley people are doing this because via their own historical documents, which could very much be altered and a lie, and all part of the propaganda, been because they have been subjected like this before, and now don't want that to happen to them again. And then there's still the threat of military powers. So right now, the Marley people have spent so much time focusing on having Titans the force of their military, now that other countries have increased their arms and weapons and airplanes and bombs and tanks and ships, they now are a threat to Titans. So it's not going to be long till they don't have the upper end military strength-wise. So now they're going back for the Founder Titan. Hopefully that'll give them the edge while they up their own military. Human resources have surpassed Titans and they need to play a little bit catch up with their own military. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like 2 episodes in. This is good. All right, so he's Gabby's cousin because her father was calling him nephew. But regardless, he may have also tried to throw himself out of a window. There's like twice now he's tried to commit suicide and failed. So there's like a flash of lightning and someone falls out of an open window, jumps. I'm assuming it was Reiner. He's not handling post-island life well. I also really like that the, who I'm assuming is the luggage titan, is always like half asleep, lied down, like she's not used to being bipedal. So I really like that element. Zeke called for a meeting in his office, but without any of the other Marley soldiers, warriors, military people, and they are being spied on by the Marley military. And it's like, this is all they're talking about, the only complaints they have, no big deal. But one of them notes that Zeke said, not in this room, as if to cue them in on, hey, he knows we're being spied on. Keep any hidden messages to yourself. I don't think he is betraying Marley. Because if he did, he wouldn't view his father as a traitor unless something's changed in these past 4 years. Maybe they have. I'm leaning more towards maybe wanting to try to extend the 13-year limit on what happens to the Titan. Like, maybe he thinks they're being lied to and it's just a way to control them if they get new Titans every 13 years. So maybe that's the part he's not believing. That's the one I'm leaning towards right now, because I don't see him betraying the government people yet. We're spending time with Reiner and his reflection on his father, who was Marley and ended up having a child with the Eldian, his mother, and that's why the family can't be together, but really he wanted nothing to do with those devils. So rude. They're so mean. But that's why Reiner worked so hard to get the Attack Titan to be an honorary Marley citizen and stay with them. But then they go to the walls, and of course we have that dual personality starting to take over as those are his friends. No, those are his enemies. And I like how they went into this thinking everyone on that island, by the propaganda machine here, is evil. Without question, they're not human. So they're viewing the people on the island as traitors who left them behind, still devils on this island. They're evil. Almost the way that the Marleys view the people of Eldia that are there currently. But, of course, we know that he comes to make friends with them. He understands their individual situations. They're just people. And at one point, they're having a conversation with this man who opened his windows, and there was a Titan outside, so he ran, leaving his kids behind and his entire family, but then hung himself from a tree, like, could not live with this. So if you kind of think of it as Reiner thinks going into this that everyone there is selfish and could not have empathy and care for other people, that would reaffirm his belief, oh, you just abandoned your child because you only want to protect yourself. But then he couldn't live with himself and end up killing himself. So that goes against what he went in perceiving these people to be. Editing Jessica popping in because I did not like how I was phrasing in the moment talks of Reiner's mental health. And essentially he is in a room about to pull a trigger when he hears the kids, and that gives him the motivation to continue living. He's living for the kids who will inherit the Titans, the candidates. And I'm wondering if previously it was partly him not being able to live with the innocent lives that he was taking the blood on his hands from the island, or if he was trying to remove the Attack Titan entirely. Like, not the Attack Titan, sorry, the Armored Titan. If he was trying to remove it entirely where no one could inherit it, but that probably still wouldn't have worked. His body would have been there. I feel like they probably would still be able to inherit it, but he is living for these kids. So I think the current Titans have a plan to prevent the next generation from taking on this burden. Is that what's going on? And meanwhile, kid whose name I really will learn. It's Colt's brother. He ends up at the hospital, and it's like, you're here for trauma, psychological induced trauma. He's having a chat with this guy with long brown hair and a blue eye. This is not a common trait, this is not a unique trait. A lot of people have those, but he really is reminding me of Eren, and I was thinking for a while here, are the scouts going to infiltrate Marley / internment camp zone areas? I don't see it. I don't see they just reached the ocean. They just saw an ocean for the first time. So they're not going to build a ship, but even if they commandeered, took over, whatever, got the ship, I don't see them sailing, navigating through the ocean, being able to dock that ship, hide it, sneak into this area. They got no papers. They don't know the lay of the land, the culture, how people talk, act, dress. They got, I assume, what are typical Eldian features, and then they would just be identified as being from that group of people without the armband. They're just going to get themselves killed. I don't see them infiltrating this area, but it would be cool. All right, Blondie, Colt's brother, Falco, something like that, was talking to the guy. He is Kruger, the one who gave Eren's dad the Attack Titan. Time travel, Eren from the future, time travel. I really got no other explanation. That's the only explanation. All right, he just gave him a letter, so I'm going to assume when the series is over, Mikasa and Armin are going to get a letter from this version of future Eren. I don't know how that is the logical answer, but it is. Oh, totally not. Eren just met his grandfather, who's having a complete mental breakdown, blaming himself for the fact his son took his sister / the daughter outside the walls, led to her death, and then him being involved in the military coup thing that was happening, failed, got sent to paradise, and was saved by his grandson, who's currently the Beast Titan that's going to die in a couple of years. He's got reasons to have a mental breakdown. We're also learning more about the Warhammer Titan, who was the one that rebelled against the Eldian people to join Marley in the original Titan Wars. So history says. History's written by the victors, so we'll see if that's actually true. I'm basically popping in to say that Willy's a funny name to have for the head of the family. especially in this setting. It just feels funny. Baldy's given a speech to, I'm assuming, a bunch of ambassadors and noble people from around the world, including people that they were just at war with. And he starts a speech by saying, yesterday's enemies is today's enemies. Oh, pardon me, I meant yesterday's enemies are today's friends. Meaning that, yeah, we'll go to war with you again, and he's not being subtle about it, and he thinks he's being funny. And I realized, like, last season, they're like, oh, you should feel bad for rooting for people's death because violence and humanity and wishing death upon people is bad, and but yet you want these people to die. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this guy die. Back to the flashback when Reiner and them were on the island. They just got to the walls. Talking about the guy who hung himself from a tree. He's like, why did he do that? And Annie's saying, I bet he wanted someone to forgive him before he died. And considering they left their friend, she can't really blame him. Didn't consider that option, but yeah. And now Bert's saying that maybe he wanted to be judged by somebody. And I can see that, exactly that. You want someone to hold you accountable for the terrible things that you've done. And then thinking into their propaganda mind, I had thought it would be because they would see this person who did something terrible, like the Eldian people supposedly did in the past, and regret it. He's human, he has love and compassion, empathy, and regret, and now he can't live with it. Where they were told these people are savages, devils, they're all evil, they have no concept of compassion and love kind of thing. And Annie's saying, well, they just want forgiveness, because maybe they did something bad in the past, the Eldian people did something bad in the past, but they want to move on from it. They want forgiveness for atonement for what they've done. And in this case, if the Eldian people in their histories did something bad, then many generations have gone by, so you should be able to forgive them by now. But Bert saying, like, no, he wants someone to judge him, is kind of going in that Marley mindset of, you did something terrible, you should be blamed for it, and you should be hated by those around you, maybe, in a sense. Haha! Reiner is in a interrogation room with Kruger, and is like, you're Eren. So it is! Eren, yay! So he's going to time travel back to the pier to meet his father at some point in time. But this is just Eren post 4-year time skip, I guess. So cool. Alright, considering this episode's called Declaration of War, and we got a trigger warning at the beginning saying violence, not true, proceed with caution, not intended for children, this is probably going to be a good episode. So sit down, Reiner. And they're going to be listening to the War Titan family, or Warhammer Titan family, stage production of how they're going to handle the growing conflict. Mr. Leonhardt, is that Annie's relative? Father? Brother? Something? Daughter. So, Annie's father. Annie's alive. She promised she would come back. Poor man. Alright, so the stage play is telling us that the Eldian people conquered the world with the Titans, were slaughtering everybody, and when they ran out of enemies, they turned on each other. That's when Helios, a Marley warrior, must have teamed up with the Warhammer Titan one, and end up coming out winning the war. Okay, that led to King Fritz retreating to his island, because they convinced everybody else to kill each other, and took down all the Titans, and then we know they took the 7 Titans for themselves. Tens of million Titans await on the island to trample the world. Yet you're still sending people to paradise when they piss you off, just adding to his army. I get you think it's the worst thing you can do to a traitor is turn them into a Titan and just let them loose there. But if you are worried about the king on this island, you're just adding to his army, which means you don't actually fear this king, which means you're also getting the army bigger for yourself to control when you take the Founder Titan's power. Is that your plan? Because you're clearly not worried about the king on this island. To this day, the only reason we haven't been trampled is merely a fluke. No, it's not. He vowed never to use it. Our scholars have no other explanation. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, talking about how they lost 3 of the 4 Titans that they sent over to the island. The darkest blot in human history. The Eldian Empire is alive and well. Sir, you were just saying about how the Marley people have been suppressing cultures, now using the Titans at the party. Right, now the story I've told thus far is common knowledge. However, the truth is somewhat different. In passing down the Warhammer Titan, the Tybur family inherited its memories. Right, so you're going to know the truth of the world. Just like the first king did. I will now reveal the truths we've learned for the first time ever. Some 100 years ago, it was neither Helios nor the Tybur's family who ended the Great Titan War. Oh, it was definitely the whoever had the Founder Titan then. The one who ended the fighting and saved the world was King Fritz. There you go. Makes sense. And then his people scurried off to the island to make sure this didn't happen again. He anguished over the Eldian Empire's vicious history, tired from the endless infighting. And above all, he was pained by the endless oppression of Marley. I wonder if Eren figured this out as well when he must have told his story at some point in time, like, hey, if I'm touching you, I can get some memories here. When he inherited the Founding Titan, he schemed with the Tybur family, and they fabricated a Marley hero, his name Helios. The king moved as many Eldians as he could to the island and closed the gates. He claimed that if they were threatened, thousands of Titans would be unleashed as revenge. However, this was never his intention. King Fritz made a vow renouncing war so his ideology would be inherited. Because of this, Karl Fritz's ideology has been passed down, and the Titans have never left the island to attack. Well, that's a better explanation than it's a coincidence that the world hasn't been trampled by Titans yet. And why we're perfectly okay with sending more Titans to the island. Not that I believe anything that's being said, I trust nobody in this universe. People lie. And the Titans have never left the island to attack. That is the one keeping our world safe is the vile King of the Walls. Karl Fritz and his desire for peace was all he wanted. But if the Marley grew strong and came to take the Founding Titan or his life up, as they did, he would accept it. Okay. It didn't go that way, though. Because Eren now has the Founding Titan and the Attack Titan. Possibly. I think both. He believed the sins of the Eldians were so grave they could never be atoned for. However, until that day of retribution, let me savor a brief paradise free of conflict within the walls. Probably could have worked out if you weren't erasing people's memories inside the walls, but I'm surprised the people in the audience are only just now gasping. Like, I'm pretty sure you should have been shocked and dismayed a while back. Marley and the Tybur saving the world was made up by King Fritz. If the King of the Walls won't attack, why do they say Paradise Island is a threat? It's a very good question. It's also like raising the question, why are you sending more Titans over there to add to their army? Yes, in exchange for our safety, the Tybur family joined hands with Karl Fritz and sold out the Eldians to Marley. The reason that I stand here and willingly part with the sham is because I know our world is in great peril. Using the power of the Founding Titan, Karl Fritz erected 3 walls. These walls, formed by tens of millions of colossal Titans, have served as shields and spears safeguarding peace. But recently an uprising took place on Paradise Island. King Fritz's peace was undermined by a person who stole the Founding Titan. Uh-oh. Once again, there's a threat to the world, a rebellion against peace. Okay. Alright, Eren's leg is growing back. His name, Eren Yeager. Okay, the letters that Eren had Falco send were not messages to the future. I'm going with one of them was. But they went to comrades organizing all this. The threat of Paradise Island is the stampede of millions of colossal titans, a rumbling. I've heard that word before. As I mentioned, the vow renouncing war prevents the king's bloodline from fully using the Founding Titan. The king does not have, or the king's bloodline is not in possession of the Founding Titan anymore, despite my theory of Eren and Historia being related. But currently this Eren Yeager, who possesses the Founding Titan, may begin this rumbling at any moment. Once the rumbling is set into motion, there's nothing that we can do. For some reason, I thought the rumbling would be like Thunderdome. I don't know why that is what I thought when I heard the word rumbling for the first time. Nothing but tremble at the footsteps of doom fleeing in vain. Yeah, you don't want an army of colossal titans walking over the world. All lands and civilization will be trampled, literally razed to the ground. It's like Willy says, I'm the bad guy, I might just destroy the world. He's got something planned. Oh, he's taking the hatred away from the Eldian people and taking it all on himself. To say Eldians were the ones who actually saved you and protected you all this time. You've been calling them devils, but really they've been keeping the peace. And stop this war in the first place. But you still need a person to direct this hatred onto, so I will be that person. So when he is killed, the cycle of hatred can finally end. I'm going with that. But to me, you were the bad guys too. Or not. That day when the wall was destroyed and Titans invaded my hometown, I watched my mother get eaten. I couldn't understand. Why, Reiner? Why was my mother eaten by a Titan? Reiner says, because on that day we broke the wall. Why did you break the wall? To sneak in during the chaos and see how the king would react. What was your mission? To retake the founding titan and save the world. I see. If it was to save the world, you didn't have much of a choice. Back then you told me, I'll make you guys suffer and die in the worst way possible. Isn't that why you came? True, I saw everyone on the other side of the sea as my enemy. Then I crossed the sea. Slept under the same roof as them, ate the same food as them. Reiner, I'm the same as you. Sure, there are jerks here, but good people too. Across the sea, within the walls, it's the same. But you guys were taught everyone in the walls was a devil. You were children who knew nothing, but it was drilled into you. You were just kids, what could you even do? Right, Reiner? Hasn't that been eating away at you? No, you're wrong, Eren. That day when Marcel was eaten, Annie and Bert tried to turn back and end the mission, but I talked them into it and made them go on. I want to be a hero. I want people's respect. Your mom was eaten by a titan because of me. Alright, guy on stage talking about how cursed his bloodline is. He hated the Eldian race, but he does not wish to die. He's born on this world, and we are all people of different races and nations. However, it's time to join as one and face this dreadful enemy. Giving them an enemy to unite behind is a good way to bring people together. Lend me your strength, those of you who wish to live. If we work together, we can overcome any obstacle in our way. I want you to join me in the fight against the Devils of Paradise Island. Okay, so they're not trying to save Paradise Island. They're sort of saving the people within the walls on their own land, but they're still making those of Paradise Island the enemy. Eren takes his hand, lifts him up. I think we were born this way. Eren's saying he keeps moving forward until he destroys his enemies. And he looks very angry. To the enemy forces of Paradise, a declaration of war. Alright, change of locations. I'm at my cousin's for the weekend. They're gone to bed, so I gotta be somewhat quiet. But, Battery died in the last clip. I was convinced that he was part of this plan, but then he's really surprised when Eren pops out of the wall and eats him. Like, was his plan to be eaten? And then we get, like, a flashback of him saying goodbye to his kids. He knows he's going to die. I'm assuming they're his children, talking about, listen to your older sister while I'm gone. And I'm like, oh, she's the Warhammer Titan. I was close. But, I'm like, does he know what's going on? Because if he knows he's going to die, is this all part of the plan that he's made with Eren? No. Because he's in the carriage with the other military guy, and they're talking about the devils of, in Paradise, and not knowing where they are and when they'll attack, and this, they won't be able to resist the opportunity of targeting the military and him specifically. So, yeah, this was not part of Eren's plan. Whatever. They were not teamed up. But I like how he was calling, like, the Eldian people devil, spawns of the devil, whatever. And the, buddy from Marley is just like, yeah, they're spawns of the devil, but, we are devils ourselves, so they know everyone sucks here. Oh, yeah, another thing about him, like, he knew they were going to attack, and a lot of innocent people will end up dying, but he even says, and he's Eldian himself with the Warhammer Titan family, was like, yeah, but only Eldian civilians are going to die. That's no great loss. So he's believing that propaganda, that they're worth killing, which is just terrible. Eren pops out of the wall, and every destruction everywhere. Buddy's been eaten. And then you have the three candidates, whatever. I think only one of those candidates. It doesn't matter. The Gabby one, who's in line for the Armor Titan. Zofa and Udu? Something. Yeah, those last two don't really matter because they're just killed in the debris. Sofa? Yeah, Sofa with a Z. She crushed, and the boy is trying to get everything off of her to try and save her. She's already dead. And swarms, crowds, people running. So, Colt, I'm pretty sure it was, grabs Gabby and hides behind a boulder to protect themselves because the other one has been just trampled. And then when everything's calmed down enough, they're carrying his body through the streets looking for a doctor. And he's like, we're already at capacity. There's nothing that can be done. He's dead anyway. So Gabby has witnessed two of her friends die, not understanding why this is happening in what should be a safe area for her. Not that her people have any kind of safety. She's going mad. She's running towards the commotion, towards all the chaos, when the guards at the gate are just like, no, you're heading the wrong way. That's where the action is. You need to get to safety. She's like, no, I want to fight. And they're like, we can't let you leave. And then explosions, carts destroyed. And we see Sasha with the gun on the rooftop, sniping all the guards at the gates, fall, obliterated. And it's witnessed again by Gabby. And then she's just like, I'm going to take all of you out. You are attacking my home. So to see the point, be within her point of view of this world for so long really makes this attack brutal on all points. Now, I was wrong about who had the Warhammer Titan. I figured it'd be the older sister of the little kids who were playing, unless he's their brother and not father. I didn't pay much attention to the relationships here. But it was his older sister that has it. So she transforms and fights Eren. And he is just smashing her face into the ground. But then we learn how the Warhammer Titan gets its name as the spear hammer appears, and also like into his stomach, and there's an arrow, a crossbow at one point. Like they can make whatever kind of weapon they want with the hardening ability. But Eren realizes quickly, actually first he's saved by Mikasa, and it is fantastic to see the ODM gear going about the city. Love that. So she saves him, but I'm pretty sure by their conversation, this was not a planned attack. Like, it's more of a, hey, I'm sending you a letter to say, hey, I'm about to do something stupid, come bail me out, come save me. And she does, obviously, everyone does. But I got a feeling this was not approved by the higher-ups. I think he was acting on his own. I do think it's a weird ability for the Warhammer Titan for the user to be underground in like an egg and get like an umbilical cord thing, and then they grow from the feet up, so it's like a fake Titan shell and the real body's beneath the surface. Because it was really obvious when you realize there's a long cord heading underground. What happens when I pull on that? So, not a big fan of the design of this one, but Eren is about to eat her, which means he would have the Founder Titan, the Attack Titan, and the Warhammer Titan. He hasn't eaten her yet. He has not eaten her yet. But like that would be 3 of the 9 Titans. If you take all 9, are you Yumiru? Are you the god then? Like, has all the Titans that were 1 that have been separated into 9 now back into 1? Can you overcome that 13-year life limit? Do you get 13 years per Titan? What's going on? But Jaws is coming, and he's about to eat Eren when Levi, Glorious, comes in, saves Eren, breaks Buddy's jaw so he can't bite down on the back of his nape neck, and Eren is able to throw him off. He is able to run away, but the scouts are keeping him down, so he might actually get the Jaws Titan too. Alright, that's all I got. Then I came up here, I've been playing with the baby, now I'm going to continue on. I also love that Jaws Titan is just like, are you insane? Can't you see I'm a Titan? Why do you humans think you can kill me? It's like, because they specialize in this. I don't know who's getting mowed down by machine fire. They're moving around too much. I don't know if I like the new animation, quite honestly, the new design. Eat the Warhammer Titan. Oh, that's not good. I think that's the Beast Titan. Levi, don't die on me. Survive. Follow his orders. Oh, I just realized rematch with the Beast Titan. I love this. Okay, they can't break through the crystal thing with the, was it Thunder Spears? I feel like swallowing her whole is a bad idea, considering she's making spiky things that can burst out of wherever she's to, or the ground. Probably don't want that in your stomach. I'm having a hard time recognizing the new designs, because I'm mostly going by hair color, and I'm like, was that Jean who just got killed? I doubt it. They wouldn't do that so unceremoniously, but it was a tall one with blonde hair that was kind of short. I'm like, I don't know. Can you take the crystallized eggshell thing and smash it on one of the crystals that she's already made? Because if it's just as hard as what she's got around her, it might crack. Beast Titan says, Eren Yeager is not my enemy. He did say he wanted to save him. Someone else comes first. Show yourself, Levi. Yes, I need this rematch. You're running at a time, as Levi was looking at a stopwatch, is the Beast Titan secretly allied with Paradise. And they had an unknown, source within the Marley military, and they didn't even know it was the Beast Titan. Maybe. Maybe he doesn't like how his grandparents were treated after he turned in his own parents to protect them. And then they were just tossed in the mental institution eventually. It was more of a hospital. I don't know. Hey, get your ship out of here. Can't you see the fleet? That is not your ship anymore. Guess they didn't just barge in here without a plan after all. I think the plan was made on the fly. Oh! Levi got him from behind. He was kind of dazed out of it. I feel like he already left the body. Yeah, I don't believe it. Fake. Zeke's on their side. I don't believe it. Oh! Carlo. Guy manning one of the machine guns. Bullet between the eyes. Way to go, Sasha. Oh, they got torched. See, it made me care about their struggles in community, though. And if I say, well, they're probably just Marley soldiers, I'm gonna feel bad. Because that's kind of the opposite of what this series wants. Oh, she's burning too. Okay, see, the Colossal Titan did not do this much damage last time. I don't like Armin being the cause of all this destruction. My sweet boy doesn't deserve this. Jean just threw the thing, the Thunder Spear, at the kid who was standing in front of the luggage titan. I'm never going to stop calling him the luggage titan. Saying don't shoot, trying to protect him with his own body. And he hesitated for a second, but still threw it. It's like, I will kill this kid for the mission. Oh, God. But air came out and it misdirected. Kid's fine, but still. He did say he wasn't going to hesitate again. I missed. Was it because of the air, or is it my fault that I missed? I don't think it was your fault. You threw that with conviction. Oh, Jaws is getting his jaw broke a second time. Eren keeps losing body parts. No wonder he had no leg when he started this season. Ooh. Jaws' claws can scratch through the egg. Is it blimp? Oh, that's what the lights they were doing. They're guiding lights. Okay. When did you guys learn to fly a blimp? I do not like the new character designs. Jaws just lost an arm and a foot. Yeah, you stay away from Hanji. Do not throw him, you need his jaws or claws. I mean, technically, sure, you don't need the body. You can just rip off an arm. That's fair. Didn't think of that. Okay, you could also just throw the claws away and use the jaws. That's also fair. I'm just realizing he's forcing him to kill his own friend. Oh, that's cruel. That is cruel. She's not normally in town. They're not friends. It's still not good. Must you smash him? You can eat him now. The armor titan is not looking like he's covered in much armor, but he's back. And I love how he's like, just why won't you let me die in peace? Because the kids that he needs to protect are calling for him to save them. Damn, it's making me like the people I'm supposed to hate. Calling it a draw, he got the Jaws Titans back and they're all out of strength, so make it a run for it. Get on the blimp. Listen, Gabby, I like you. Please don't blow up the blimp. Please don't blow up the blimp. Levi's being Levi. Kicks him in the face. Kicks him in the face. This brings back memories, Eren. You have such a kickable face. I mean, 6 casualties is not as bad as it could be. I don't like you saying the new Eldian Empire's first battle ends in victory. You're not the new Eldian Empire. No. Let's have a new name. Let's have a new name. But that would just erase Eldians from history, which is what the Marleys would want. History would forget they existed. Maybe they should keep their name. Ugh. First battle, huh? How many more till the fighting ends? It never ends. That is how the cycle of violence works. Close the door. How about we not have this hug in front of an open window / door? I was kidding! Oh, thank God. I was convinced they were about to shoot somebody from the door. It looks like Gabby is not going to shoot in the blimp. I also just realized, was it Falco? He caught up to Gabby. He didn't have to overtake her, pass her. He just caught up and stopped her from running. Sweet. She doesn't know what they've gone through in the walls with the Titans. She doesn't know what they've gone through behind the walls with the Titans. Oh, he's going to tell her. He's telling her that they were trampled on too. This is their revenge, yeah. Besides, they're all just an island of devils who threaten world peace. It's not true. You watched the play. He said that they were hiding out there and were not going to trample the world, assuming that part of propaganda is true. Oh, they're cruel devils who always deserve to die, just like I'm sure your people deserve it when they were made to be suicide bombers. Like, connect the dots, overcome the programming in your mind. They're nothing like us. They are exactly like you. You are Eren if you swap places. Ah, he hesitated because he was a kid. I'm not saying he should have shot, but war zone. And she got him. Is she? Oh, this girl is crazy. Even if we don't win today, you guys will carry on my will. She's gonna board the airship. Don't do this, my girl. Yes, big brother, come talk sense into them. Please, please. Stop her, stop her, stop her. He grabbed onto her, now they're both going to the blimp. Told you to close the door. I told you to close the door. Sasha. Damn it. I'm taking note how they all run, except for Connie and Jean, to beat up the girl so using violence instead of applying pressure or getting the bandages like he's asking for now. So human nature, go to violence over caring. Her and Luffy would be friends. I'll toss him outside, alright? I'd be fine with it, but we could be kind, take them back for information, hostages. I don't know. If we toss kids out of an airship, will the killing ever end? It's not ending anytime soon. Oh, Zeke is alive! I am so shocked. I never would have seen that coming. Well, did everything play out as you hoped, Zeke Yeager? For the most part, but there was a few miscalculations. Who are these kids? Miscalculations. I like Sasha. Her last words were me. I will say, though, Sasha's like my third or fourth favorite character in this show, and her death is not all... It was shocking. It's not all that emotional. We really just had the episode that made me love her when she saved the little girl, and we met her father and all that, and their flashback episode. That's just the one. I'm not attached to these characters. Erwin, if anything happened to him, probably more upset. And Historia. Maybe Gabby, I want to see her turn around, live a good, healthy, happy life, not angry. But if anything did happen to her, I wouldn't be all that upset, so... Yeah, I'm not attached to these characters. Alright, so ends part 1 of 3 of the final season. I don't know how many parts they split this up into. So that's all she wrote. This was probably a very long video. I will be going back to Berserk eventually, but I'm so close to finishing Attack on Titan, I just kind of want to wrap up the series that I've got started. So once I finish Attack on Titan, back to Berserk, then Monster. And I'm really, really loving this. I know the season 4 has mixed reviews of the ending, and I hope I fall into the camp of the one who loves it. Because right now, having such sympathy for these two groups and people and just wanting them to live, I'm excited. I'm very excited.